Hello, this is Will from JourneyWallStreet.blogspot.com. I'm here for the trade reviews for trades made on June 18th, 2012. So I woke up pretty late today, had a pretty long weekend because I have to work pretty much all of Saturday. So that kind of threw my timing a bit off. But I felt like I had a couple of pretty nice trades today. I think I was sized appropriately enough. Unfortunately, I couldn't hold on to the trade as long as I want to, just because I had to go to work. And I also took some new swing positions. So let's go to the trades. One of the trades I was in is in GNC. So it's a fairly simple setup. Let's see if I can find it here. Okay, here it is. It's just a kind of a pull back into the 21 EMA as resistance, and I kind of tried to short within this area and try to add a little bit on the break. I didn't get filled for all the shares I wanted, but I was able to get some. So fairly simple trade. I took the fib retracement from this area and basically got to the first retracement area and covered most, and then once I hit it the first time, I kind of set my stop to 34 and got rid of the rest. So very simple trade. It would have gotten close to this, but it didn't. Kind of in a somewhat of a support area, so I didn't really think it was going to go that much further, so I just took the first fib target and just got out. Pretty simple trade. Not much size though, as I said. Next trade was in eBay. This took a little while to develop. I was watching this off the open, and not off the open, but off when I woke up, which was about right here. And then I noticed it started to really hug the 8 EMA, but kept tailing through it. Finally, I noticed that 42 was somewhat of a buyer, or it hasn't traded below 42. So once it sort of did this little pullback here, and I started to notice these tails were a little bit higher, that's when I got long some. And then once it broke, I got long some more. Then I kind of sold into the 20s on the way up, and once it pulled back here, I got long some more near the EMAs. And again, I wanted to try to. My target was to the 40s, but I couldn't get it, so I sold more at the 25s, and that was kind of it. I was done with the trade. At that time, I had to go to work, so couldn't get much out of it. So basically this is what I did to determine the 40. I did my fib extensions from kind of this area here where it was the first red bar. Kind of did something like this, and here's my target. I did not go for the second one, which is why I kind of like the first one. But of course, you also have to consider this area, the 25 area, just because it was resistance. So that was my primary target there. So really quick trade. I felt like I was sized pretty nicely. Maybe my risk. When I was right here, I had about a max risk position close to it. I was able to load up a pretty decent amount here, load up on the break, sold some going up, and reloaded here, but not quite as much, just 300 shares, and then sold into this move. It would have been great if I was able to hold longer and hit my target, but ultimately, I took what I can get in the time that I was allotted. So still a pretty decent trade in my opinion. Let's see, for tomorrow, couple of big things that happened today. Start off with Microsoft. It didn't really do anything, but they had a big announcement of their new tablet. That should be fun to watch. JC Penney, one of their, I think their president is leaving the company after 8 months, and this was the first hire by their new the new CEO or whoever that was. Ron Johnson Stone, that he used to work for Apple. So, really big drop and decline. So that's going to be definitely on my radar tomorrow. And Oracle released their earnings early, so this is another stock that will be in play tomorrow. Let's see, what else do I have? SNDK, I kind of liked it for a little swing trade. Here's my assessment. So first thing is EMAs. They crossed over and it's been bouncing above the 8 EMA, so that's a good sign. Sign number 2 is, you notice these kind of pivot areas here. So came off its lows, broke this first pivot area, pulled back into it, held above it, kind of pulled back into this second pivot area here, and yesterday's price action, it broke through it, and today it tested it some more, pulled back, but overall closed sort of above it. So I got in here. My stop is below this breakout candle right there, and there's potential to hit this next pivot point, and if it does, then we'll have a gap filled of 40. So I bought some call options for in case that does happen, and I don't know, and it looks pretty decent on the weekly. It's bouncing off the 8 EMAs now. Maybe it's going to use that as a catch, and coincidentally, if it breaks below my stop, it's probably going to break below the EMA, so that would be a good sign to get out, and nice kind of a catch up to the 21. Next trade is in NEM again. Looks pretty nice on a weekly. Bounced off of the 8, kind of hit 21 resistance, came right back over the last few weeks. So looks pretty good for sort of a kind of a bull flag type of thing. Kind of a clear support area below 49. So that's a easy just get out below there. On the daily, it doesn't look too bad. It bounced off the 8, came back, bounced off the 21, and ultimately closed above the 8. So time frames look like they're lining up really nicely. Not so much the hourly, but definitely like it on a daily, and really like it on the weekly. That's really about all. So I did update my business plan to kind of, if I hit my weekly target for 2 weeks in a row, then I'll be allowed to increase my max risk. I think right now I'm feeling kind of stagnant because I feel like I'm in some pretty decent plays, but I'm not really sized correctly. I feel like I can get a lot bigger and more aggressive in some of these plays. I mean, granted, like this one might have been a little bit tough since it was on the 5-minute chart versus a longer time frame, but this would have been just a tier 1 play anyways. But for something like eBay, where it had news, it's breaking above a pretty tight trading range. First test of the EMAs held above 42. Things like this, and nice pullback here. Things like this should have been, I guess, bigger than what I was in. Even though right here I only risked I think it was 30 or 50 at the most, and then it wasn't until the ad that I got to about 88. And a trade like this, I could have put on more risk and still be okay, because I had many lots of levels of protection here, and then EMAs down there. So I don't know if that's kind of rushing things, but based off of my last couple of weeks in terms of my play selection, my discipline within those plays, seems like it has improved a lot versus what I was doing when my strategy revolved around the inside bars. So we'll see if this is the catalyst to really try to push myself a little harder than I have in the past. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.